So, you want to be a real estate investor, but where do you start? How do you know what information and sources to trust? That's where I come in. I'm Jonny Cattani, and this is the Investor Relations Real Estate Podcast. Hey guys, real quick, before we start, go to investwithcattani.com and download my free ebook, Is Commercial Real Estate Recession Proof? Now to today's show. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Investor Relations Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Jonny Cattani, and I'm joined today by Chris Salerno. QC Capital LLC is a national multifamily investment company acquiring complexes of 100 units or greater in the major Southeast market. QC Capital focuses on markets that demonstrate consistent rent growth, population growth, and job growth. Experienced Chief Executive Officer with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry, skilled in sales, management, teamwork, leadership, and project management, strong business development professional in the multifamily real estate industry. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jonathan. Very excited to be here. Very excited to get back and help educate some of the listeners and viewers.
Absolutely. I appreciate that very much. Had a great conversation offline, but really excited to get to it. As we do with everyone, give us kind of the Reader's Digest version, start in the beginning. What led you into real estate?
Yeah, what really led me into real estate, I've told this story a couple times. Ironically, when I was at Winthrop University, I was studying to actually go pre-med biology to become a plastic surgeon.
Wow.
And chemistry and biology whooped my butt. I did not stand a chance. And very quickly, I switched my major to business entrepreneurship. From that, I created a couple businesses. And then I left college early. I was also running Division I track as a sprinter. Left college early to pursue those businesses. Some of them did not pan out, but learned very valuable lessons along the way. I ended up. I've always had a passion for real estate. I remember when I was riding my bike. I'm from Florida originally. Grew up there, and I remember riding my bike. I would sneak under the gated communities because the gates were like 4 feet higher than the ground. So I had to sneak under it, and I'd ride my bike into very luxurious neighborhoods. And I said, one day I want to live here, and I want to be a part of real estate, just because it's always different. You never know what you're going to expect. It's not the same thing over and over, and it's a necessity. We all need shelter. We all need a place to live. And so after doing that, that kind of really sparked my light to get into the real estate industry as a whole. From those from those endeavors that didn't pan out, I then was working 2 jobs at the time. Meanwhile, studying to get my broker license here in Charlotte. Once I passed, I let those jobs go, got my broker license, and from there, I scaled very quickly my first year to becoming the top broker with Keller Williams in Charlotte. I created a company. I merged that with the number 1 company in the Carolinas. They're also number 4th in the world at the time. And when doing so, they were producing around 92 million annual sales when the merger happened. I fell into their operational role, was able to get them to 147 million just in a year and a half in sales. Meanwhile, throughout that process, I had fix and flips, a couple of fix and flips, also single family rentals. Very quickly, I realized that economies of scale, numbers do not make sense in the single family rental space. So from there, I created QC Capital and started educating myself on the multifamily space. Found a coach mentor, scaled the company very quickly. Within 3 years, we acquired a little over 200 million and 364 units. We sold off 3 successful exits, and hopefully this week we'll be going under contract to sell off our 4th successful exit. We are looking to heavily acquire assets this year to achieve a 500 million annual or assets under management by end of year. So we're pushing very, very hard to accomplish that goal.
Awesome. I love it. What a great story. So as a broker, were you in single family, or was that your first taste of commercial?
As a broker, I was strictly single family. I'm a type of person that when I do something, I jump all in. I don't do anything part-time. So once QC Capital was formed, I let all my licensing go. They all expired. I no longer broker real estate. I do have occasional friends here or there ask me about single family. I always refer them to a local broker that I know in the Charlotte area because I do not broker real estate. I strictly purchase multifamily.
Awesome. I love it. So what was your first deal? What market were you in?
First deal was Charlotte, North Carolina, and then it was then Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay. So you guys obviously love the Carolinas.
Yes.
Talk about the progression. Obviously, they're really starting to explode as we were kind of talking about off camera. Kind of talk about the progression. What are some things that are really driving the economy there?
Yeah, I think a lot of job growth. That's something that we look at for all the cities we're focused on. Is there's a tremendous amount of job growth coming on and coming into these cities. Last I counted in an article that went out, there's 22 high rises being developed in Charlotte. Charlotte just led the country in office square footage being developed and has been developed, which is 5 million last year. So there's a lot of jobs that are moving here. A lot of people also don't know Charlotte's the second biggest financial district in the United States. So we're seeing a lot of jobs move here, which obviously is bringing a lot of people. Cost of living is extremely low compared to up north and out west, and we're seeing that amongst all the other cities that we are focused on for acquisitions throughout the Southeast. Is cost of living, taxes are lower, and people want to live in these states.
Awesome. Makes perfect sense. I did not realize that it was the second biggest financial hub. That kind of flew under the radar for a bit, but
It does.
yeah, starting to blow up. So obviously a lot of strong job growth, a lot of things being built. Is the city working hard to put infrastructure in place to handle all of this as well?
Most definitely. I mean, they've built light rails to go to the suburbs where individuals can just hop on the light rail, go straight to the city to work. They are building the roads on the exterior with tolls, which I don't mind tolls, but the roads are going to be a lot better because they're widening the roads. Instead of 3 lanes, they're going to 5, in some places 6. Wow. To accommodate all the traffic that is coming into the inner city.
Awesome. I love it. So it sounds like, what are cap rates looking like in that market?
Yeah, cap rates were in the high 2s, low 3s. Now we're seeing them in the high 3s, low 4s for cap rates. It just all depends on what type of product you're looking to acquire. We mainly focus on Class A and B+, so the newer type of product. We actually are getting ourselves into development right here in Charlotte with a brand new development project that we're looking to build ground up.
Awesome. I love it. Big fan of ground up. I've talked about it already, but I'm working on a ground up self-storage deal. Oh, yeah. Numbers are, better, a lot of upside. So kind of talk about that progression. Did you guys start in the A and B? Was that kind of your strategy from the start, or did you go value add and kind of eventually get there?
Yeah, we went to that traditional value add 70s, 80s type of product, heavy lifts. Really, COVID changed our way of thinking, noticing that, with the C and D type of assets, you're doing those heavier lifts, and that means more risk. That also, doing that, you're limiting your pool of buyers as well, in my opinion, when you go to exit the property. But you have a lot more risk going on, and also the tenant demographic tend to fluctuate very heavily when the market corrects or has a downturn. They are impacted extremely heavily compared to a Class A and B+ from what we've noticed. Also, with those type of employers that are employing the tenants in the Class A and B+, we found that it's a lot stronger tenant demographic, which is tend to pay rent on time and quite frequently consistently too.
Yeah, a lot of really great points there. All very valuable points and huge when it comes to these projects. So kind of talk about, are there tertiary markets that are starting to get really big around there as well? Is it expanding? Are you able to keep going, or, are you kind of looking at other markets as well?
Yeah, so we're looking throughout the whole Southeast: Texas, Florida, Atlanta, the Carolinas, Nashville, Tennessee. I'd like to, by the end of Q3, beginning of Q4, we'd like to be in the Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Colorado market. Right now, we're heavily bullish on the whole Southeast and plan to stay there and really go even deeper with acquisitions this year.
I love it. What is it about those areas do you think that are driving, obviously job growth and things, but what is it about those areas that are making these companies want to go there and ultimately people following suit?
Yeah, I think these companies ideally are getting huge tax benefits from these cities, from the mayors, from the states as well to relocate. I think they are finding that the cost to run their facility is a lot cheaper, and also the overall the lifestyle. The lifestyle in the living lifestyle is a lot less as well compared to New York or California, Washington, Oregon. I think that they're finding that it's more cost efficient to move their companies here. Obviously, when they move their companies here, that's going to bring a large amount of job growth. Employers or employment, which is going to bring the people, the population. So I think that's what's driving it. Also, the lifestyle. I love Charlotte because we get to experience all the different type of seasons. We don't get to have 2 to 5 feet of snow and get snowed in. We get maybe an inch or a centimeter of snow. It melts the next day, but it looks pretty on all the trees. And we get to experience all the different type of seasons and really the outdoors, especially living here. We're 2 hours from the mountains, 3 hours from the beach, which is nice. And I think a lot of people are enjoying that as well.
Awesome. I love it. I'm obviously a huge fan of the outdoors living in Salt Lake City, but wouldn't know anything about only 1 inch of snow. Do you guys have infrastructure do you guys have infrastructure for that? Because I know some cities will just completely shut down.
We shut down if we hear snow's coming, and it may not even arrive, but if we hear snow is coming, we'll shut down.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I remember in school we had to have 6 feet of continuous snow in order to have a snow day. So
that's wild.
Yeah, a lot different. Awesome. So obviously a lot of things kind of starting to change, be up in the air economically. What things are you guys keeping an eye on moving forward as you start to scale and expand to these different markets?
Yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on, inflation, the organic rent growth that these markets are seeing. For example, we just acquired a property in San Antonio. We had one lease that was at 1,100, and organically with just paint and new carpet, we got a lease in place for that exact unit for around 1,500 organically, with not doing heavy lifts. So I think at the moment, it's wonderful to take advantage of that opportunity tremendously. See how you can take advantage of it. Make sure you're underwriting. So if you can't take advantage of something like that and get out as soon as possible, in my opinion, right there, I don't think that is going to be sustainable for the next 5 to 7 years, where you're going to be able to see $400 to $500 in some cases $600 to $700 rent increases. That's a very highly unlikely. We'll see, but we're keeping an eye on the market, not only in the United States but in the world. Globally, we're keeping an eye on the market because that does affect our business. With unfortunately with what's going on the other side of the world, with gas prices increasing, logistics increasing, that increases our supply of materials that come to our properties, because now we have to pay more to get them there. And in some cases we have to wait a couple extra months because Home Depot, Lowe's, and our suppliers are out of certain items we need. So we're now, when we get our bids, we're looking at 4 to 5 different type of items to select, just in case if one item is out, we can go and order the second item. So we're watching all that very closely because that does impact our properties, and it can impact our business of each property. But if you focus on newer type of assets in great locations, I think you're definitely going to be poised for a great exit and a great investment opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not having that deferred maintenance, obviously reducing your need for supplies, and obviously all of those different variables that come with that, all these supply chain issues. So you kind of mentioned earlier, obviously your ultimate goal, get to 500 million under management. You guys have scaled very quickly. What have been some of the keys for you guys, building your team and getting everyone on the same page and scaling effectively?
Yeah, I definitely think that managing people is somewhat of obviously a challenge and a gift that you need to have because it can be extremely difficult. People are not easy. People are not easy to manage, and I think creating a work environment where it's a family atmosphere where we all have the goals in line, we all know each other's goals, we all know how each other operates at our peak performance. I think that's very as a leader and as a CEO of the company, I think it's very important for me to know that and important for all other employees to know how each other learns. We all take the DISC test. We all have access to that Dropbox of each other's DISC test. I think that's extremely important because we all learn differently and we all operate differently. For example, I can operate 7 days a week, 16-hour days. 17-hour days. I've done it for years and I can operate that way. I enjoy operating that way. Whereas my managing partner or my director of acquisitions cannot operate that way. They get burned out, they get very tired, and they are unable to operate that way. So for me as a leader, it was very important to ensure that the individuals that were brought on to the company that I knew how and when they are operating at their peak performance and when and how they need to take a break or take a rest so they can operate at their peak performance during the times we need them to operate. And I think that was very crucial of helping grow QC to the ability or to have the strong foundation that it has. So we have the ability to achieve that 500 million.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of really great points there. Understanding how everyone works, understanding not everyone just wants to work constantly. I'm kind of the same way. I like a little balance here and there, but I find myself just still sitting at my desk, and there's always something to do, right?
Always.
So, whether or not it has to get done, whatever. But if you love what you're doing, then it doesn't feel like work. Which certainly I think that you've reached that point as well.
Oh yeah.
And it's great to see, right? And it's nice. I'm sure your partners appreciate that as well, especially having you, at the helm and leading those. So moving forward, what are some other strategies you guys plan to eventually be vertically integrated? Are you already vertically integrated? What are kind of some things going forward?
Yeah, we have a phenomenal relationship with our property management company right now. As the company grows, will we seek to bring property management in-house? There's a possibility. I think as you grow a company, you should always, have an idea of what that looks like and prep for possibly, a transition into that. But you also have to think at the end of the day, it's very important to focus on your one thing and the task that you currently have at hand. Until you reach that certain point, then you focus, more effort and more time on looking into, does it make sense to go, to vertically integrate? Does it make sense to transition and create that separate arm of the company to have everything in house? I see some operators that are doing it after 2 assets and they only have 500 units, and then I see some operators that have 20 to 30,000 units that are still not vertically integrated. So it just makes sense to cross that bridge when that bridge comes and to analyze, does it make sense to go vertically integrated and bring it in-house, or does it make sense to outsource it and just have great asset managers to run the properties?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's important and awesome that you guys have those relationships with your property managers, because certainly I know from, talking to a lot of operators, one big factor for going vertically integrated is, like you mentioned, you don't have that good relationship, right? You've had to burn through 2 or 3 in a certain market and they're still not getting what you want, or whatever it may be. So certainly that's a factor. And if you have that, it may not make sense.
It's very important to have those. And I definitely agree with that. Our property manager actually brought on an analyst for us with their company to make sure that we're underwriting these deals and we're cranking them in. Maybe there's a lot of groups out there with their relationships with their property manager. Maybe they don't have that benefit where, their property manager is not going to dedicate someone to your company to ensure that they are analyzing those properties and getting through them very quickly.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, anytime you can have more analysts, obviously the key right now, you guys probably underwriting 100, 150, about 10%. Is that about how it funnels down into finally making
I would say
offer?
so. I say first quarter of this year, we were north of 250 deals that we underwrote. And I would say only around 3 to 5 of those made sense. Right now, just this quarter, Q2, I'd have to check with our director of acquisitions, what we're looking at in our deal list. I know we have a lot, but we've already submitted around 6 to 8 LOIs just just in April alone.
Wow.
So we're cranking them in extremely heavily, and we're watching our underwriting very closely, with this market.
Absolutely. And this is across all of the markets that you guys
Correct.
are in. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I mean, spread across that many markets, that's not crazy.
No, that's probably, yeah, I would say that's average or maybe even below average, across those markets. If it was just the Carolinas, I would say, yeah, that's a way above average. But yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Well, we are kind of coming up on time here, but I've got 5 questions that I ask all of my guests. It's the final 5. First question, what's the best advice you've gotten from a mentor?
The best advice I've gotten from a mentor, I think that's a great question. I've gotten a lot of advice, and if I had to, pick the best, I would say that you only have one body, you only have one mind, and you really need to cultivate and build that mindset very strong. So I would say keep that in mind, is that you only have one body, you only have one mind. And you need to make sure, this is a mindset game, and you need to make sure that you've built your mindset with education, with determination, with positivity. If not, you can be controlled by this game, and you can not hit your max potential.
Wow. I love that. So powerful. Mindset is everything. It's so cliche, but it's so true.
It is very much so.
What is it about your career that makes you feel like you're fulfilling your why?
I would say the journey and the game of it. We're playing the game Monopoly, but in real life. We're buying large properties, we're fixing them up, we're making them better communities, we're operating the communities more efficiently, and at the end of the day, we'll look to sell those communities. And I would say to fulfill the why is the journey of and the hunt of acquiring a deal, and what that feels and looks like. And the more we acquire, the larger the company grows, the more jobs we can offer to people, and a better lifestyle and community that we can offer to our residents.
Awesome. I love it. Favorite non-real estate or investment related book?
I would always have to go with Think and Grow Rich. That's a phenomenal book. I love that book. There's actually a new book I'm listening to, and I highly recommend it. I know you said book, not books. But The Upside of Stress. That is a huge book about mindset. I'm almost halfway through of that book. It's a 8-hour listen. It's not long, but it's called The Upside of Stress, and I highly recommend it. It really talks about mindset, and they've done a ton of studies about the mindset, and they explain it in that book. And there's a lot of great quotes, a lot of good knowledge of really how to build that mindset to adapt to highly stressful situations.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I would say, possibly, I would say predict the future.
Nice.
I would say that.
Yeah, that would be very useful.
It would be extremely useful.
Love it. Awesome. Last one. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you and learn more?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of myself or anyone from the team is go to qccapitalgroup.com. On the top right tab, you'll see Become an Investing Partner. All of our investors are called investing partners because we partner on these deals together. So click on that. You'll have a series of questions you'll be asked to fill out. Once you do that, a QC Capital team member will be in touch with you within 2 business days, and we'll connect with you to see if we're a good fit for a partnership.
Awesome. I love it. We'll link that in the show notes. Chris, thank you so much for your time and all of your insight.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited, and take care, guys.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. Listen, I know it's cliche and you hear it all the time, but please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out. Even though this is technically a daily podcast, you know it's coming out the next day. We have a ton of content coming your way. So please like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Leave comments. Would love to know what you guys think. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks so much.